What is up? Welcome to the Watch Your Work show. We're back, and like we have always been, at least in our last, I don't know, 4 or 5 episodes, we're going to be ripping some Asia packs. We got great guests coming in. We have so much, oh my God, so much to talk about. Um, Everyone discovered that women play basketball at college, and they can play basketball really well. And this was new to some folks, and it was really, really fun for about 15 minutes. And then you turned on Twitter, and everything was awful again. So we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about all of it, and I'm going to be joined by, of course, Jude. Jude, hello.
What's happening? Oh my gosh.
Oh,
This course around women's basketball was exciting and then just nauseating.
it was completely oh my gosh, we made it because our discourse is terrible.
Because everyone has a take now about
Oh
Angel
God.
Reese and Caitlin Clark. Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah, we'll get into it. Before I just realized I still have my sticker on. It was
Oh, look at
primary
you.
day in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Very
I
cool.
know it's a voting day in Chicago and elsewhere around the country. I hope you vote today. If you're in the Mountain Time or on the West Coast, just shut this off and go vote someplace. Vote. It's great. Um,
I agree.
Jude, um, let's let's just focus first on um Final Four, and then we
Sure.
can start to go, because this is just where my mind is at. This is where we've been for the last few days. What is maybe what's 5 years from now when we're talking about this Final Four? Because it kind of felt like a tipping point. Let's say it becomes that tipping point where it's the windfall we needed for women's basketball to be sort of the real mainstream. What's going to be your sort of salient moment, takeaway, tweet, whatever from this last weekend?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I was fully bought in the conventional wisdom that this was South Carolina's season of destiny, that they were going to go undefeated. Like a lot of other people, I sat down on a Sunday a couple of months ago and watched them just roll through LSU,
Yeah.
and thought there's just no team that's ever going to give them trouble.
Yep.
And I was very much enjoying, like everyone else on the planet, Caitlin Clark's performance, especially against Louisville, to get themselves into the Final Four. And I thought, that's a nice run, but at the end of the day, she's one person. Even if she gets her points, South Carolina's just too stacked all around or whatever. And then we saw this just seismic boom in which now the natural order of things as we understood them dismantled overnight, right? And I think that it would have been reasonable for people to expect LSU to have been there at the end, although Virginia Tech had a hell of a season too.
Yeah.
But so the idea of starting off before the tournament, if you told me South Carolina and LSU in the final, I said, okay, well, that intrinsically makes sense or whatever. And then Caitlin Clark just comes in and just, and Iowa, just, it's not just her, it's the entire team. I just absolutely just, announces their arrival. And then we get treated to, I thought, a really spectacular championship game that was marred by some just, I don't know if questionable is the right word, but just
Awful.
disappointing.
Disappointed is a better word.
Yeah, disappointing refereeing. I think in particular the technical that they called on Clark. There was a comment that was made afterwards by the officiating crew that they had already been warned about delay of game, and so that was their interpretation was that she was showing them up by continuing to delay the game after they warned. At that point they brought it back down to single digits. There's a lot of excitement going around that game. You've got 9 million people watching the game. They're not there to watch the refs. They're literally there to watch the superstars on both sides of the court. And frankly, I'm excited because none of these players are going to be eligible. Well, not none, but the ones that we kind of talk about and think about aren't going to be in the WNBA draft this year. So we're going to watch them for another year in college. And
Yep.
so there's a great opportunity for Virginia Tech to bring back its squad, for Iowa to regroup. South Carolina's always going to be good under Dawn Staley. LSU's they've got something to defend. There is just there are a lot of great teams next year, and it's really kind of building the momentum into the WNBA season too, which I absolutely love, because we have this little gap between the championship and the draft now. But I think now people are saying, oh, this is actually fun. What's this all about? Can I get more of this?
Mm-hmm.
And it's about converting bodies and souls into the WNBA and saying, hey, if you like this, we got ladies doing this on the professional level.
Yeah.
Literally the best of the best, cream of the crop. Take the 10 best players you saw in the Final Four and put them all on teams, and that's what you get day in and night out in the WNBA. So
yeah, absolutely. Co-sponsor everything you said. I think there were just so many from this last weekend. There were just so many sort of what felt like tipping points kind of all weekend. And what up, Quoth? Kelsey, you're on your way. We could see this happening. And yes, South Carolina is going to be interesting, and I want to get to them because they had a big day of announcements. But I want to post one thing quick in the chat here, because Quoth and a couple other people are here early. So why don't we gift whoever can click on this? Yeah. I think the last time we did this, Jude, you sent me best of pack, and I have some moments to give away from that. We get some more people in here. We start getting some double-digit views sort of on our live side. We'll start giving away. I think I have a Sylvia Fowles TSD to give away here. What it felt like was just there's these huge sort of just like what felt like seismic moments. Tickets for the women's Final Four were going, tenfold for what the men's Final Four tickets were.
It's better than Taylor Swift the same night, right?
Yeah, better than Taylor Swift the same night. Different size venues, obviously, but what felt like a huge moment. We have Bill Simmons not tweeting garbage things about women's basketball and actually like tweeting like, oh, he's watching the game and is like analyzing it. Wow, that's weird, because I have the book of basketball that I can't even open anymore because of all of his garbage takes about women's hoops in it. We have just what felt like just star power from these different sources that we hadn't necessarily had it before. We've had star power that were consolidated on like one teams. Like we had like, like teams of like Maya Moore and oh my gosh, I'm forgetting it, but like Stewie, we had Sue Bird, we had Swin Cash, Diana Taurasi teams at UConn. And what we have now is we have these icons of the sport playing literally all over the country, from Stanford to UCLA to Utah to Iowa to Notre Dame to LSU to South Carolina. Yeah, you're welcome. To just everywhere.
Kevin, just a quick aside here, not to ruin your chain of thought, but the Notre Dame message boards were aflame with the reporting today that Caitlin Clark was once a silent commit to Muffet McGraw. Now, who knows what the legitimacy of this is? The report from the Recruiting Insider was that ultimately she felt like she needed to stay in Iowa, which again, don't blame her on that.
Right.
I then spent the afternoon thinking what could have been with Caitlin Clark on Notre Dame.
That's the most like message board statement to like go like 5 years later and say, oh yeah, she was a silent commit, obviously.
Yeah, my girlfriend, you don't know her. She lives in Canada.
Exactly.
It's very much that vibe. Yeah.
Caitlin Clark is the longing, like the Wolverine meme with the face of like Jean Grey on there. But it just felt like just like this new moments of women's hoops where you had these star power just like going against each other and going at each other, from like what Angel did post game to Caitlin Clark, and what Caitlin Clark did post game to Haley Van Lith, and
of course,
in game trash talking her pretty
And what the Texas
significantly.
player did to Hilly before, right?
Exactly. What
Honorable
a
mention.
handshake line. Oh
Yeah,
my
the
gosh.
handshake line. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing is, um, I felt like there was too much focus on the idea that players were clapping at each other. Because
Mhm.
honestly, that's my favorite part of the WNBA. That's
Yeah.
part of the reason why I love all the Notre Dame players, because they're the biggest shit talkers in the league, among the biggest shit talkers in the league. Like Marina Mayberry never shuts up,
Mhm.
Like, so you either love it or you hate it, right? And
Yep.
so I really did not love the way that the racial stuff came in, and I guess that's to be expected. But I did love the idea that Shaq was spending time on Twitter jumping in people's mentions, telling them to shut the hell up. You know what I mean? And like basically, a lot of people pointing out and cutting video and showing people like the context. It's important
Mhm.
to understand that this is very much a part of the women's game. It's always existed. And just because you just showed up and you just noticed one player doing it at the end of one game, it doesn't mean it wasn't there the whole entire tournament.
Yep.
And that the person who it was being done to literally a couple of days ago said, you're down 15 points, shut up, to one of
Yep.
the Louisville players at the end of
Yep.
her game,
Yep.
So I hope that they never regulate trash talking out of the game or chirping or anything like that.
Yeah.
We can sit here and debate whether or not that the appropriateness of it, or whether she had the right to, to go after the best player who literally kept her team in the game. I really don't care about any of that stuff. What I care about is that's good for the passions of the fan bases, right? This is
Mhm.
like Angel Reese is either a hero or a villain in this story, and seems like she's comfortable in being cast either way, which I think is
Yeah.
kind of cool too. So
And not only is she comfortable with it, like this is stuff that she's for I don't know if crafted is the right word, but I mean she is so self-aware of who she is, what she projects, how that projection is taken on by a large swath of America, and she's comfortable with the ramifications of it. And
yeah,
it's spinning into very strong kind of like WWE kind of heel energy, and honestly I'm here for it. But just it's one thing to do that. It's another thing to be like the one of the two or three most dominant players in college basketball, and she's definitely owned up to that. And for Shaq to get in her mentions, I think people were saying a lot of things about Shaq very similarly 30 years ago.
oh, absolutely,
There's a lot of stories that he has about his time in college and what he endured because he was loud, he was bombastic, he was black, and that didn't sell well with people in the early 90s. And what we're seeing is that we haven't moved the needle probably as much as we would like, sort of in that time, based on Twitter discourse.
yeah. I mean, last summer we were talking. I think it was the summer maybe before the WNBA season last year. We're talking about the big ESPN cover story with Jonquel Jones, and her
Mhm.
feeling like she's making her mark in the league, but is otherwise invisible to the general public, right? And so, for better or worse, Angel Reese announced her arrival and said, "Look, I don't care if you love me or hate me, but you're going to recognize me. You're
Yeah.
going to acknowledge me. I refuse to be invisible in your world." And I love that energy. I
This is the
absolutely.
hill that will die on. Let women talk shit.
Yeah, exactly.
2023, 2024, beyond. That's what
You
we're
know what?
riding on.
Let's run for president and vice president, and we'll just make that our pay women, invest in women, let women talk shit. I mean, I feel like we get a lot of
Hashtag LWTS. Let's go. Let's go. Well, Jude, we've been talking for 15 minutes, and I kind of promised folks that we were going to rip some packs. And
all
so,
right.
we ought to do that. We still have plenty of Asia Wilson packs to open up. Yeah, when our merch. That's what we need
Yeah.
to figure out. We need to get the merch angle done.
I will
Um,
definitely do a watcher work on the front side, and let women talk shit on the back side, or
there we
maybe, I don't know,
go.
maybe in the pocket square or whatever. You have to kind of lean in to see it. I'm
Yeah,
all for it.
all about this.
Yeah.
We did some streams as a Winsider team over the weekend
Maybe
on
you
some of
just
these
drop the
games.
word let, because I'm not letting women do anything. Like, just women talk shit. Like, just let's do it, you know? So
I'm loving how this is evolving. I like any edit of this. This is perfect. And we're gonna add "Let Women Talk Shit" to our other merch ideas of hashtag Not My Goat. We had some folks who were just not ready to crown Diana Taurasi their democratically elected goat. Oh, we had some others, but you know what? We're rolling in
like
merch
not my
ideas.
goat. As a
Yeah,
person who just, UConn was always the thorn in the proverbial thorn in the side of Notre Dame in the Big East, right? I
right.
love-hate relationship with Diana Taurasi. I just respect the shit out of what she does.
Hmm.
But she's not my goat. So
You know what? I understand it. I have a 7-year-old in my house whose favorite player is Diana Taurasi, and um, who is someone I can foresee in the next 10 years talking shit in some games. So you know what? I'm gonna let Diana cook. I'll let our 7-year-old love that, but I'll keep my opinions to myself in this
maybe
household.
we'll make kid sizes for the women talk shit
There we
t-shirt.
go. Awesome. Great. I can't wait for the call home from
It's
school.
like
How
putting your
about
kid
that?
in a Nirvana t-shirt, you know? It's like you're gonna get comments, so let's do it.
Just lean into it. I love it.
just just lean into it.
All right. Jude, I don't think that we've gotten better than have we gotten a sub 200 serial on this?
No, it's a great question.
I don't
Somebody
I
in the
know
chat
that we haven't gotten a two-digit
memory, but
serial.
yeah, it hasn't been a great run. Hasn't been
Yeah.
a great run. A lot of just really banal, uh, "Hey, do you want an 8173? Because I own that now."
I'm sure this is exactly the vision that you had when we started doing this to
I
like
thought
open
by
up
now we would have
10,000.
opened 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Yeah.
Right. Mhm.
Maybe tonight. Hope springs eternal. So,
Always. That's we keep ripping and we keep hoping.
yeah.
Um, we'll start with a few. We start off great.
Here we go.
Great.
8909.
Right off the bat. Oh man.
But maybe there's somebody out there that's like, I was born in 89. My kid was born in '09. Like, maybe it's something to somebody. I don't,
There's
not me.
still there's still serial believers out
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And you know what?
Um,
I'd much rather burn your 10,000 and 11,000s that you're sitting in your account. If you want to switch it for an 8,909, be my guest. So
yeah. Somebody's got to love a 3015
30,
out here.
15, 15
Mhm.
is times 2 is 30. So,
Yeah.
there's some symmetry there, I suppose.
Right. Dude, I want to open let's do the first 5 of these. Then I want to start talking about your bracket that you have up because
Okay, yeah.
I mean, now that we're done with, one bracket, why not
Let's keep the
open up
bracket madness
another?
going. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I actually on the Top Shot Discord, we haven't really done anything on Twitter, although we certainly could. We've invited people to a bracket of sorts in which I've picked 48 players who somewhat distinguished themselves last year, but did not receive a Top Shot moment, and said to the individuals, why don't we do a little bracket between now and the draft, and then after the draft, we can pick it back up again before the season starts, but let's see if we can't whittle down some players that we as a Top Shot community believe are deserving of Top Shot debuts. And I'm not talking about the rookies. I mean, Aaliyah Boston's going to get her, Top Shot
Mhm.
debut next year. God willing that she stays healthy, right? So
Yep.
there are a lot of rookies that we can talk about during the season that will be deserving. And probably some rookies that will get Top Shot debuts that will kind of scratch their heads at. But there are some people out there, who we talked about all season and didn't get the love, right? And
Mhm.
so I'm hoping that we can have some fun with this. We can give out some moments as incentive for people to fill out the survey. And then I can take that to, Steve and Jared, our team on the W side at Dapper, and say to them, look, not for nothing, but we ran this little poll for 5 weeks. And here is the literal order of the way that people would love to see, Top Shot debuts come out. And if it's Steph Dolson, number 1, or Lexi Hall, or Steph Talbot, or whoever it might be, it
Right.
doesn't matter to me. But what I want them to do is, is to recognize this, right? And
Yeah.
I think this is kind of generated from the fact that the Washington Wizards community was very high on I'm going to botch this, but one of the rookies basically, and they thought he was deserving of a Top Shot moment, and so they just started sounding the drum beat on Twitter. They were putting, Top Shot this and NBA Top Shot this, and they got to the point where Dapper not only recognized it, but they're going to do an exclusive reveal, or maybe they did an exclusive reveal of the moment for the Wizards community. So, I feel like we could do the same and generate some excitement here,
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
where people can say, look, I voted for Kayla Thornton to get her moment this year, and I'm just excited as hell that it's here.
Yeah.
And, I think I don't believe this will happen, but, we did have a player's choice set last year that was based off of actually players giving us input and saying, what their moment was from last year that, that was special to them. I would love for them to repeat that, but do that with people that didn't get Top Shot debuts last year. So we can get a Steph Dolson moment from 2022, especially now that Dapper's announced that season 4 will continue, and that we're going to have an overlap of 2 WNBA seasons within the same Top Shot season framework.
Sure.
If we're going to kind of commingle the 2022 and 2023 seasons, then it would be great to say before the season starts, to build some excitement. Here are 5 players that deserve moments last year that we just didn't get around to, and get them into our sets so that we can use them for challenges this year, assuming that they're all going to play outsized roles. Now, this is an idea in my head that has not been cleared by anyone. So I don't want to leave people with like Players Choice 2023 is on its way or whatever. That is not the case, but I felt like it could not hurt to have some fun with this. Hello, Jen. How are you?
Hello, Jen. Welcome. It's so good to have you back.
I'm like, I cannot believe it's April 4th already. That's just
Going quick.
Yeah. Jen, we waxed for a long time about what our takeaway was. We already called it. It's a tipping point for women's hoops. Everything is mainstream now. We're not going back. What is maybe your big takeaway from Final Four weekend? Like one moment, a tweet, something. Like what are you going to remember 5 years from now?
That it was on ABC.
Yeah, great point.
Because I actually saw a tweet about this, and I feel this is very true, that they said the pivot, the catalyst moment for U.S. women's national soccer team was the 1999 World Cup that was put on ABC.
Yeah.
And it had 17.5 million viewers. And they said that's what launched the support for the U.S. women's national team. Yes, it was the famous Brady Chastain, took off her shirt, that whole Sports Illustrated cover. But the fact that there was 17.5 million people that watched that game because it was on ABC changed the direction of that, team, that sport. They're thinking when 10 million people watch the national championship game, same thing. Like they feel that this is going to launch it, especially now that there's talks of a TV deal, right? Like NBC wants this. And who knows if ABC, ESPN, ABC will keep it. I doubt CBS is, obviously with the men's side, but could be a bidding war.
Yeah.
That's what could launch this, right? That you could have now that we definitely have the March Madness logo and branding and things like that, that really helps. So I really feel like same thing. The fact that this game was on ABC is going to change everything.
Yeah. We're going to have these same players back next year. Like this isn't the end of the run for Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark. It's a run for some of the role players. Like, man, it's going to be hard for Iowa to make it back without a Susanna or someone.
Yeah, but I feel like that's also, Jan Jensen is an incredible coach. She put Meg Gustafson on there, and same thing with Monica. And I feel like that's also their thing. Like they know they need an inside presence, and I feel like that's also really part of the game now.
Mm-hmm.
That you need that strong, big inside. And then you need that outside presence, right? You can see the teams that are most successful is when they spread the floor.
Yep.
And I don't think, I don't know who Iowa has coming in, but I feel like they're not going to be hurting. Like they have such a strong
Clark. They're not going to be hurting.
Well, no, because okay, so I went to, I don't even know if I told people this, but well, actually, Jude caught it. But I was at the Sweet 16s in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I sat down. It was Colorado versus Iowa, and there were so many Iowa fans. So many in Seattle.
They
like,
travel.
They travel, right?
Yeah.
So
they were all over Dallas too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And so, you know, the Midwest has had a huge presence. Like, so, you know, for so long it was Minnesota, right? And I don't in Nebraska. I mean, I know Nebraska.
You didn't have to do that, but
no, I'm like legit serious. Like, I meant that's a good thing that they were in the NIT, right?
Yeah. Well, Nebraska pulled 6,000. They pulled close to 10,000.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like the Midwest has such a dominance now in this sport that they can find. I was gonna find another Midwestern, you know, blue collar type big, and gonna keep going. Like I don't doubt that. I mean, I think they now have that presence that they can get that recruiting.
Yeah,
easily.
Yep. I love that. I love that take. I'm a huge fan. I only have a handful of takes on the bracket here for who we're going to get a moment.
Yeah.
One being, oh my gosh, was it difficult to pick these things? So like for me to like pick between Veronica Burton and Vonnie Turner as a Nebraska fan was the most difficult thing in the world. Like I met like Veronica Burton was part of our meet and greet when I went to AU, and the nicest person on the planet.
Yeah.
But Vonnie Turner was like a Nebraska legend, Vonnie Turner. And I love the bye weeks that we see here. Just I almost feel like offended that Alicia Clark, that Ty Harris, if Dawson, some of these players don't have a moment already. But just my little like Mystics fan heart exploded a little bit when I saw that Tori Kimball Walker earned a first round bye in this tournament. Huge fan. And last one, if we're gonna vote Megan Gustafson as this winner, Pancake has to make an appearance in the moment.
Pancakes needs to be in the moment. That's
Pancake
what I say.
Needs to be in the moment.
Hey, Jen, what do you think about like a maybe an IRL or a Zoom call with Pancakes and special guest Megan?
I feel like
Pancakes is probably.
I don't know who'd be more expensive, Pancake or Megan. I don't know. I mean, we only got limited Dapper funds these days. I don't know who'd be more expensive.
We shouldn't overpromise. Pancakes might be 10K, you know. So
serious, like, you know, how many followers does he have? More followers on Instagram than she does?
I think so. I mean, I follow Pancake on Instagram.
We might be in trouble.
Pancakes was very vocal during the Iowa run, as rightfully so. So
rightfully so. What?
I mean, there's some fever on fever violence, some dream on dream violence. You know, Lexi Hall's, if she advances, got a nice second round matchup that should be pretty interesting. Yeah, I think it should be. I think it should be fun. I was expecting a little bit more chirping from people about the seedings. Well, why did you seed somebody, you know, this high, this low, or whatever? You know, a couple people have said, I just don't know these players. And again, you know, when we're voting in the first round, a lot of this is like filling out your men's tournament bracket or your women's tournament bracket. I don't know who St. Peter's is. I didn't watch a lot of, you know, basketball from Fairleigh Dickinson this year, right? So it's like they're leaps of faith, right? Go up to YouTube, grab a couple of highlights, see if you like the cut of their jib, you know, for lack of a better term, and vote for them, because we need to break some ties here.
I've not heard cut of a jib in a minute, and man, what a good way to slide that in. Like, that was well done. Perfect. Oh, let's see. Let's keep the ripping game open. Before we start that, I want to jump off on our next talking point, and we're gonna do that with our uh giveaway here. So, in honor of LSU winning the title, I'll give away Sylvia Fowles TSD. But I wanted our StreamYard giveaway tool hashtag to be something that we could talk about for a minute. And so, like the stream, subscribe, put the hashtag Goncox in the
Can I
chat.
just tell you? It's so hilarious, right? So I lived in the Carolinas. I lived in Charlotte for 14 years, and so
Yeah.
you know the hats where it was like where they say
the bar
their
hats.
logo,
Oh, right.
name,
Huge
their
in the
mascot,
90s.
and then like little
Yep.
letters like under the line.
Of course.
So it would just say Cox and then
Yeah.
South Carolina, right? And so
Yep.
people would
Mhm.
walk around with like, and like you didn't think twice about it because you knew who the. However, when I first moved there, when I kept hearing USC, and I was like, wait, which
Oh,
one?
I know. That
Yeah,
doesn't
right.
stick for me.
For sure.
No.
Right? Like
Mhm.
because in my head, I grew up, even though I grew up in, the Northeast, I was thinking Southern California, not South
Yeah, of
Carolina.
course.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, when they said USC and then it's always the Battle of the Carolinas too. But
Yeah.
I mean, people walked around all the time and it just says
The bar
Cox,
hats were
South
huge.
Carolina.
Yeah.
That had
Um,
I went to an all boys high school. A lot of them had the Cox hats.
yeah,
so
big frat boy energy on those
that
hats.
is huge white boy frat energy right there. Yes,
The big one, like I remember these in like mid to late 90s. The ones that said Coos across the top, Syracuse, those were big. Man, worst like I remember mostly Cox, Coos, and Heels for most of those. Very big, like East Coast bias for Nebraska frat boys in the late 90s. So yeah, keep committing that, keep putting Goncox in the chat. But the reason I put it up there is everyone for Carolina is going pro. Like they're foregoing their COVID year in a lot of cases, and they're entering the WNBA draft. We may have like 4 or 5 Gamecocks come out of the first round of the draft. Outside, so of those, let's see how well I can remember. Aaliyah Boston, Bria Beal, Zaya Cook,
did Zaya announce? I hadn't seen that yet.
Zaya announced.
She did. So that must have been the last couple hours.
Sure. Yep.
Because I saw LA announced.
Yep.
This morning.
Yep.
I hadn't seen Zaya announced.
Zaya did as of around like 7:00 Central Time. Also worth noting.
Work.
Yeah, you're good. Also worth noting. One of the other players for South Carolina put this out as a joke, and it sort of does spread all over Instagram. But like, what a statement! Like, if you look at like the 300-word essays that come out of these Instagram posts, for someone just to say bye, even as a joke, is great.
Well, I saw a lot of people giving
stuff.
Kudos to Maddie Segrist, because in the very first sentence she just was like, "I'm declaring for the WNBA," and then put all of her thank you. Yeah. Every journalist was like, "Thank you." Like, this is how it should be done. Don't give us the very bottom what you're doing.
Well, it's funny because I think now our eyes are trained to scan right towards the bottom or look for bold.
Absolutely.
Whatever, look for the keyword WNBA. Like, I can't be bothered to read every strength coach you want to thank. I don't know them. They don't mean that much to me, right? I just want to know if they're wearing or not.
Absolutely. On the last on our championship stream on Winsider, one of the folks pulled out the chatbot GBT and asked to write an announcement declaring your eligibility for or declare you're going to the WNBA draft. And It was exactly everything that you expected. When I was a little girl, I never expected that I would be here. And then 500 words later,
so many trailblazers. I am forever indebted to them. Yes, of course. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
I do think it's kind of that fun. I mean, I know why Boston. I feel like I know why Boston left, but the rest of I mean, there are so many W players that are like, stay in school.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh my God,
eh,
it was an epidemic, right?
yeah, I
Diamond
mean,
Shields, Sabrina Ionescu, who started the conversation? Was it not
I
Asia?
even saw like Isabel Harrison was like, stay in
Yeah.
school. I think even
Tosh
Natasha
said it.
Cloud said the
Yep.
same thing.
Mhm.
Um,
How about one of the players did the pros and cons and said basically pros of staying in school is you get chartered flights. I'm like, oh my God, how pathetic is this?
oh
You
yeah,
know?
no,
Yeah.
that was fun. Oh, I think even like Gino was joking about like, I'll take anybody back. Stewie, I think you got another year of eligibility, right? She goes, at least I got chartered flights. It
Exactly.
was
Oh my
like,
God.
'Cause it's not
I was
illegal,
like,
and
yeah,
it's
you would do that.
Yeah.
Gino would so do that. So out of those, let's just talk about like that's the group, Aaliyah Boston in her own category, S tier, future Hall of Famer, my opinion. Um, between Zaya, Bria, Amy here, um, who do we think goes first? Who do we think has the better career? What do we think about some of those folks who are going in? Because sort of on first glance, they kind of seem really similar kind of players. Uh, lanky wings, strong defense, occasional shooting. But there's a lot of like nuance and detail in there.
I think Zaya goes first.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because she's got the speed and she's a
Mhm.
guard and more of the true point guard, and she can lead that team. And I think she could be a very strong backup. I think though that's gonna be around longer is gonna be Brie Beal because of her defense and because of the physicality that I think she can
Mhm.
withstand and is already built for. Um, like with Lexi Hull, for example, that people knew she was a good defender, but she had to bulk up,
Yep.
right? And that she spent that offseason bulking up, and everyone noticed it in AU. And I think that's going to come to the W. I think Beal's already there
Yeah.
in that regards. Um, and so I think she could have a longer career than Cook can, because I feel like Cook,
Mhm.
while she'll go quicker, will be much more of a backup. But I think Beal could have a much more stronger presence.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I tend to agree. Um, I kind of just as a Mystics fan with that pick, I would love for them to get one of those two and then just develop the hell out of the shooting side. So they could kind of be just have continually like 5 years of like the most unstoppable backcourt defense in the entire world, and then hope that the shooting comes along with it. Um, but I love the idea of all of them as pros. I just hope that it works out. Just this is such a weird draft of like great talent, but oh my gosh, limited roster spots. Such
Well, and
limited
that was
roster
one of the
spots.
reasons why they're like, stay in
Hmm.
school, because if you
Yeah.
can take another year to develop
Hmm.
physically and hit the weight room for free,
Yeah.
do it, right? And the fact that it's what, less than 1% make the W to begin with. And I mean, and how
Yep.
many last year first rounders didn't even make a team?
I
Like they were
know.
all cut in training camp.
I
So
do think there's something to be said though that at some point there's a certain segment of people that are just kind of done with school. You know,
Hmm.
they never really. It's not that they don't prioritize their school or they don't cherish it or value it, but they're ready to start their professional career, and they're
Yeah.
willing to endure some bumps along the way. I totally get all the arguments, and I think I think actually it's a great argument for why a minor leagues for the NFL would never work. Right? There's just
Hmm.
not enough money there. A booster is definitely going to be willing to help the Iowa women's basketball team before he helps the Iowa G League team, right? And so, um,
Yep.
you know, I think there's definitely a lot of benefits to staying at school, but one of them is that you have to continue school, and unfortunately, some of the discourse around Angel Reese got into this her grade point average, and I thought it was really tremendously unfortunate, right? Like LSU is ultimately responsible for making sure that she remains eligible. So
Yeah.
if she's struggling with grades, I doubt that there is a there's I guess I would say there's plenty of resources at any major college to help individuals with their school projects. But at some point, people they've got their degree. They don't care about a master's. They just want to get going on their professional development.
Exactly.
And they're willing to spend their entire time doing that instead of, dividing their time attending classes that they don't care for anymore. So,
right.
Side note, didn't we just see 90-25?
So we had 90-25 and 90-26.
Did we not get 90-25?
Oh, we'll go back. We can look. Yeah. I love this. And whoever 98-55. Oh my gosh.
No, but going down. I really thought I saw 90-25.
Okay. We'll keep going.
Oh, 40-95. That's what it was, maybe.
Oh. Yeah, the person who brought up Angel, I didn't see that part of the discussion, but my God, the person who ever brought that up can
take a long walk off a short pier.
Can go kick rocks, long walk.
Well, it was because she wasn't eligible. Was All-American? She wasn't eligible for a major award because of it.
Right.
That was where the controversy came in. And, I agree with the NCAA for holding the student athlete to that standard. But
for sure. But this,
right, I feel
all
like
of that flies in the context of what discourse was happening. It just adds that level of awfulness. And
it's hard not to see it as a dog whistle, right?
Oh, sure.
Towards the idea that Black people don't care to be educated, or that Angel, for wherever she's picking on her state or whatever they're doing, and it's just, or maybe it's about LSU. And maybe, look, I was saying the other day, don't let Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, the faux controversy that was ginned up by everyone, distract you from the fact that Kim Mulkey remains the most terrible human being on that court.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When LSU played Tennessee earlier this season, I think Tennessee won, or they came very close. I was like, as a diehard UConn fan, I was like, you hate Kim Mulkey more when I screamed, "Go Tennessee!" like more than once, because I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I have never been able to stand her.
For sure.
Ever.
And there's good reason.
I have always it was actually funny because I was sitting next to this woman at the Sweet 16. She was just a big women's basketball fan, had been a Colorado season ticket holder for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Bought tickets to the Seattle event before, back when it was announced.
52. All right. There we go. That's got to be the best one we've ever seen, Kevin.
Finally
a single digit or double digit.
Double digits, yeah.
Oh, tell us about the season ticket holder.
So she was like, I bought these tickets when it got announced. Had nothing to do with it. And she was just excited Colorado was going to be there, right? And we were talking about things, and she said the same thing. I was like, and I told her, I was like, yes, I hate Tennessee, but I fully respect Pat Summitt for everything she's done. I fully respect Dawn Staley. I said, Kim Mulkey, never. I was like, mm-mm. I was like, there is something about her that I just cannot. And she agreed. She was just like, no, and then it was funny because then she was like, yeah, I kind of feel that was kind of saying, she's like, Gino. And I was like, yeah, he's an acquired taste. I get it. So I was like, I completely get Gino 100%. But we were talking, and she's like, I don't even know if I like Jeff Waltz. And I was like, I could see that too.
Where does Muffet rank in your Circle of Hell rankings?
You want my honest answer?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Towards the bottom.
But she's above Mulkey, right?
She's above Mulkey.
Right.
But she's not. Not that my dad and I were actually having the conversation about Olivia Miles and about why, things didn't announce. And he was like, I think they purposely withheld it. And my honest response was, if McGraw was still there, I would agree with you, but I don't with Ivy. I really don't think they knew, because they never exactly announced what the injury was.
Yeah.
They just said she can't play. And I said, but with McGraw, I would have thought the exact same thing, that they purposely withheld it for their rankings with her. But I don't feel that way with Ivy. I think they really tried, and she just couldn't go.
Yeah, Ben asked about this in the Discord, and my response was sort of like, why does it matter? Shouldn't the seedings be based on your performance throughout the year and not about some hypothetical way that you will play without a player at 100% or at 0%?
You would think it would, but they even talk about the momentum going into the tournament too much.
They do.
And especially like if you kind of look at,
but is it incumbent upon Notre Dame to play into that? You know what I mean? Like whether they withheld or they didn't withheld, I think we end up at the same point, right? They were going to meet a buzzsaw in the Sweet 16, whether it be Maryland or wherever they got put, right?
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
I don't think anyone was sitting there going without Olivia Miles at full
well, when
strength.
you're the ACC regular season champion, you expect a higher seed, right? Right. Like so you kind of expect that, but to the point, did they win it because of everybody or did Miles help carry them? And I think
Miles
helped carry them.
Okay. I mean, that's, I think that she was a huge part of it, and that, losing Caitlin Clark or, somebody who was probably integral to the success of another team, would be the same exact deal.
I mean, she was able to me help, losing Mabry if they just lost Mabry, it's one thing, but they could prove they could play without her. But I think we need these 2 stars.
The one thing we can agree on, though, is that Muffet McGraw never abandoned one of her players who was wrongfully detained overseas and never talked about them.
Except she didn't acknowledge one of her former players on a good luck season.
Though. On Twitter, she put a tweet out where she mentioned all the alumni and didn't mention the one person who didn't graduate from the school and left early. Yes, of course. Yeah. And no, I think blocking Stewie was the pettier move, by the way. Blocking Stewie on Twitter, that's a pettier move, right?
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
No, I saw the controversy around Jewell Loyd, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
But I really think Jewell left early because of McGraw, not because of anything else. She hasn't said much. She's gone back to she's only started going back to Notre Dame after McGraw.
Mm-hmm. But also just to
for a while, and then went back to then
put a quick pin in this.
South Bend.
We have a 52, a 688, and I think if we get another decent serial, I think this is the first heater we've ever been on.
I know, right? I'm feeling like we pulled an 11,000 anything yet?
Not for a minute, but this could be it.
I just put it in the universe. Here it goes.
We already did. Let's go. Oh, we're back to 1800s. Okay. All right. Great year. 1832.
You know a lot about 1832, do you, Kevin?
It's it was a fun time.
I was like, wait, is it one of the famous alcohols? 1832?
There was probably some riot over alcohol. There's probably a financial panic. There's probably a terrible person.
Now, isn't there
in the White House?
A black label Jackson and they call it I need
that might be.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like some Jim Beam label.
Or something.
Well, I mean, there was the War of 1812, but that was 20 years before 1832. So, I don't admittedly know a lot about 1832. So.
You know what? As soon as we get off, I'm gonna open up the Wikipedia page for notable events.
Well, the funny part is it says that I just looked up 1832 is when Prohibition started.
Oh, what?
Wait,
no, Indian Prohibition. Wrong one.
I was gonna say that was in the 1900s. Yeah.
I was like, I just typed in 1932 alcohol. See what I can come up with.
There you go. Letting blood out of their brains to cure cold. What a time. What a time. Leeches. There we go.
If she weighs as much as a duck, she's a witch.
Oh my goodness.
All I typed is 1832 alcohol, and I got alcohol and cholera. I got that as a hit.
There we go.
Yeah.
Do you know, Kevin, every time I see a social media update from Sophie Cunningham of the Phoenix Mercury, I think of you and Kelsey.
Oh.
And I'm just waiting for her to be sitting poolside with her new boyfriend, Matt Gates.
You know what? Of all the sort of moments that we dodged in 2023, her re-signing with Phoenix,
re-signing with Phoenix was a big deal.
Courtside, being spotted at one of the Trump hotels in the greater DC area with problematic Congress folks. Thank goodness. Oh man. Whew, wow. What a last couple of minutes.
You
So
never know
let's
what you're gonna get
say,
around here.
yeah, I know. So the WNBA draft is Monday?
Monday.
Yeah, literally Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
I know.
there
Even
any
Indiana posted us. It's like, oh, they're no longer rookies.
they're no longer rookies. Like also, it's completely absurd to me with how much I mean, I only have like a 6-minute drive to work. I only work in office 2 days a week. Still listen to ESPN radio on that drive. And in this, like whatever the 18 minutes of commute I've had in the last couple of weeks, I know the math doesn't add up on that. I've heard
24?
probably
That doesn't-
16 minutes of NFL draft commentary like over the last 3 weeks, like all this
Mhm.
radio, and that we have a week between the national title game and the WNBA draft is
Yeah.
wild to me.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think they need a combine. The tournaments are combine, right?
The
Like you
tournaments are
see those
combine.
players, and that's exactly why Haley Jones's stock has been tanking
Mm-hmm.
because she did not perform in either the
Show.
Pac-12 tournament or the NCAA.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you don't, with the NFL, it's I think a little bit different because there's so many players, and they do 7 rounds of
Mhm.
32, and there's 300 players, and they can't scout them all.
Mm-hmm.
But you can sit there and watch all those games. I mean, that is their combine. That is, they've been talking about, and there's been so many mock drafts for the by those
Yep.
writers put out all season long. So, it's just how well they're performing that kind of shifts things. But
And Kevin, something that I
32.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
dang, what a night.
32
That's
and 52.
awesome.
And her jersey is 22, right?
yeah,
Oh,
Oof.
you know what this means. We got a handful of packs.
is the jersey still
to get there.
left?
No, I do believe the jersey's
Ah.
out. So
Darn it.
yeah.
We
But
can
3
dream.
through 8 I think are still available, right, Jen?
Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't
Don't
looked in a
stop.
while.
We're not going to
It's
stop.
like, don't stop.
I know.
By the way, I love the name Neil Diamond Hands. That's a great name.
Isn't
right
it
there.
great?
Yeah.
Neil is Neil Quoth, Deep Threats. We've had great friends all the way along here with great names. Let's see. Oh my gosh. It's making me nervous for the last sort of like
What I
7
was going to
packs
say,
that we have.
Kevin, before you open and put another fire cereal, and we got to talk about that. Something I expect you to be good at, because you do a lot of WNBA draft, insight, is we're going to put out a prediction contest for our Discord, and we've learned the lessons from Ben last year to not make a short answer. We're gonna give you about 30 players to choose from for each round. And we're also going to spice it up a little bit by asking you questions about whether or not the team is going to trade out of their pick. So you'll have to decide whether or not they actually keep the pick. So you get a point if they keep the pick and you decided that they did, or you'll get a point if they trade out of the pick and you pick that they'll trade out. You don't have to say who they'll trade out to, but I think that would make it a little bit interesting as opposed to just grabbing the player. So we'll put that out soon. And then, obviously on draft night, I fully expect our friends at WNBA Collector Community to have a playback going. I bet you probably Team Hold, their Watcher Work, is going to do something similar. Yes,
we might. Yeah. I may have Winsider commitments that night, but that'll also be a thing to check out there. That leads me to our friends at Winsider. I did not do this one this year, but they just put out their most recent writers GM mock draft, and
always
there was
worth watching. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there was a trade happening there. If you're on the Patreon, you can actually watch how it played out via Zoom, which was hilarious to me. Because Aria actually made them type their picks like an actual like contact card they do in the NFL, like into the chat. So
yeah,
you could announce it. It was great. My instant takes, if we're going to do just some like blind analysis for this, I'm really worried if Ashley Jones is going to be a first round draft pick. Jen, you talked about like stock tanking from like early exits. I was so high on Jones last year, even like into this year, up to their like run to Big 12 tournament champs with Iowa State. And I just think I think an early exit, sort of not really like showing up a ton, and sort of the emergence of the center for Iowa State, even though they're hurt, as sort of a buzz name in this draft. I don't know if Ashley is going to find a spot in that first round.
Well, I think what hurt Ashley in the beginning. So I remember seeing Iowa State at the PK was Stephanie Soares.
Yes,
and
Stephanie
her
Soares.
presence kind of took away from Ashley, and I don't think she was able to. Like, it was supposed to help her, but I don't think people expected Stephanie to be as good as she was before she got hurt. I know, first 10,000. I'm sorry. But, and I think it took her a bit. And then even when Steph got hurt and was out, it took her a bit to kind of take back over, because she kind of had to take a step back. But at the same time, like.
Ooh. Nice.
3-digit.
Yeah, 706.
Yep.
I feel like Ashley was that star, but you're right. I don't see her quite yet in the W. She might do good like in Indiana or the Dream, but I can't see her on a top tier team.
Yeah. I think my dream for her sort of landing with the Mystics is no more. They're going to need someone who's, I think, just a lot more mobile, defensive oriented. I mean, Ashley can rebound, shoot really well. I just think they need probably more creation and athleticism from that spot.
I mean, I think it comes like when you kind of look at the players around her, like I could always see why she stood out, right? She is that star compared to that team.
Yeah.
But if I went between Ashley and Maddie, I'm going Maddie.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
100.
Not, even if you look at Villanova, the same thing. Like, obviously, there's no one quite on Villanova like there was Maddie to even kind of help her come close. But Maddie's built, and she can play that defense, and she's got the drive, like more of the dribble drive. And I think sometimes Ashley was a little bit out of control.
Yeah.
So
you saw that against Miami. Yeah.
Okay.
You saw that against Miami. Yeah.
So I think, for a while, I mean, yeah, Maddie had a great season. I think she was on radar, but again, Villanova didn't have a deep run either. But I think her stock went up, because I think they really then, as she got exposed, people really started to see her game, not just the point production. Like, there's a difference between putting up point production and game. And I think Ashley is more point production, not game. Does that make any sense?
Completely makes sense.
I
think of someone who's like point production, is the name, they're from a smaller school, is like Keshana, like Washington, something like that. She's like, oh man, she's like 5'5". When playing against like other essentially lower tier D1 schools, like looks like the most like unbelievable player on the court. But you also like see that scoring like 27 points a game, and like she's doing that against like the ACC. Like I don't think she's like
I kind of also think about Kelsey Plum though, right? Because I would not have said Kelsey had a strong game in college, but you saw the potential, and it's taken her a few years to get there.
Yeah,
sure.
I don't see that with Ashley. I don't see the development. I see that with Maddie. I could see her, expanding even further her game and things like that. But I mean, Kelsey was the same way. I mean, she was. Yeah. She had obviously the point production. She had a little bit of game. She played for Washington, and you could say, well, but doing those points against the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Back when Stanford was really good, and so was UCLA, and even in Oregon. I think that was even Oregon at that point.
Yeah, that was the Oregon time.
It's a little bit different than, I don't know. Neil, he just wants to pack. He doesn't want to hear us talking. I bet he's got us on mute at this point.
Neil is just going to pause it now and just watch it back at like 3 times speed, just so we like actually.
As I said, he's probably got us on mute.
Oh, well, I also, if we're going to do like one more like hot take from this pick'em, like, I don't know if it's a draft if like Dallas doesn't do something crazy, like trade a pick someone completely wild, like they're the wild card like every time.
Like a walk.
They have Chicago's first round pick, do they not?
Yeah.
I don't think Chicago does. Chicago even have a pick this draft?
I don't think so. Not first round.
But I thought they
Yeah.
traded their second round too for an earlier trade.
I think they probably did. My ability to pay attention to anything past the first round is
It's hard.
nil.
Yeah.
I know the Phoenix has one pick this draft, and it's like a third round pick, and that's all I know past
That's
the
it?
first round. Yeah, they gave up. It was last off season.
Oh, for
They gave up a
Diamond.
future pick. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which, wow.
Yep. Which completely worked out. Yeah.
Did it?
Nope, not in the slightest.
No.
I will say though,
Diamond about to have 3 different teams, 3 different Top Shot moments.
exactly. I like Michaela for Phoenix. I know that she was probably included in that Mabry to Shields everything trade as like salary for Phoenix to get Griner and Tarasi signed in the same offseason. I just think she is so bright, shoots well, can rebound and play defense. I think there's a spot for her on this team. And quite honestly, I think she can pick up the role that she needs to have on this team better than the person that they traded away from Phoenix. If I could say that in a more diplomatic way.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Do you guys have any hot draft takes? We got one more pack to open. Neil is probably foaming at the mouth, so like make it short so he doesn't have an aneurysm.
So the only thing, this is admittedly my first year that I'm going to be really locked into paying attention to the draft as opposed to catching the highlights or catching bits and pieces. They're not doing this in front of an audience, right? This is they're setting up in a room somewhere, and it's only
Jude. It is the most awkward corporate luncheon kind of vibe. Holly Rowe is there to walk around and just like put people in front of a microphone and revisit their trauma. No one's there to clap. Maybe some parents are around.
Well, there are tables. It's just the tables of the player and their family.
Right.
That's
but like
it.
last year they had like high top tables in the back, and like some people were like hanging out at those. It was very like a Friday after work, but like a corporate mandated one. Like it was that kind of
business
vibe.
after hours, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where they're going to draw a ticket to see who won the 50-50 at the end, right?
Right. That was I said to keep it short, and then I went on a rant about the
I feel like my hot take is going to be no international players in the first round.
Ooh.
Okay.
I like it.
Because I really have not this sounds off, because I've not really heard about a lot of international players this year. Like before, I've had like people have talked about some international players coming in.
Yep.
I mean, like a walk a few years ago, Jade for Seattle and things like that. But I really have not heard much international talk this year. So this
there was a 17-year-old, right, that everybody was gaga about for a hot minute. There was a 17-year-old that everyone was in love with. I'm blanking on the name.
But I don't think she's declared. I haven't seen anything that says she's declared. Like she might be playing really well in the EuroLeague, but I haven't seen or heard anything that says she's declared.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know it shouldn't be a hot take, but I feel like the last few years there's been a random international player all of a sudden.
Sure.
Seattle's the most guilty of that. I'm serious, right? 2 years.
No, he said he's laughing at me for taunting him about. This is my taunting him about the wiggle. But no, you're right about. You're right what you're saying, Jen.
I was like between Ezzy and Jade. I mean, randomly Aussies in the first round, but yeah, I mean, I'm even saying that about Seattle, that they're not going to pick Aussie in the first round. Is his pack getting too invited to the White House? Yeah, probably.
Oh man, talk about low moments. I hope
hopefully she walked that back, right? She cleaned that up within 24 hours.
Dr. Jill, if you haven't walked this back yet,
I don't think she has.
Oh, see, I think
Clark came out and said no. Lisa came out and said declined it.
Right.
I've only seen Iowa people decline it. I have not seen.
I'm pretty sure
walk it back.
She cleaned it up today, but I could be wrong.
Man, yeah, like I think Jill was just like ready to get like some electoral votes in 2024, like with a comment like that.
I
Oof.
You cannot. You
I
just cannot do that. You
Yeah.
just.
I see that. I think she just saw it as women and trying to
I
get them
know.
on the stage more than
Yep.
anything else. Like, I don't think she saw it as the state of Iowa. I think she was like, look at these women players.
Yeah.
Oh, Combs made a statement. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Look,
don't.
I think it's fine to be excited about it, but it just.
Yeah.
It has very
As
much.
everyone said, like, this is not the way to do that. Like,
Right.
Mhm.
It had
you
very,
have a council, you have
what was
something
his
else.
name? Mark
Yeah.
Packer vibes from when they announced Niele Ivey as ACC Coach of the Year, and he wanted to talk about the Florida coach instead, or the
Yep.
Miami coach instead, right?
No, he wanted Lawson. He wanted Carol Lawson to win.
Oh,
He
from
went off
Duke?
and he wanted
Yeah.
Carol Lawson to win.
Yeah.
Because
That
I
was
actually watched that. I was like, what? I thought he said something derogatory. I was like, what did he say? And then I was like, oh, he just didn't want Ivy to win. He wanted Lawson. I was
Right.
like, okay, that's what.
like. How could you what would be the role of the Iowa players at the Rose Garden reception for LSU? Like to stand there and clap for the LSU players?
Again?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's
know.
ridiculous. So, anyways,
But at least, so like speaking of White House, I was like, EDD's on their fitness and sports committee. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Something, some health
Mhm.
committee.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
All right, we're repping this.
here we go.
I
Let's
know
go.
those orange, the hoodie sneakers are fire.
Oh,
Did
absolutely.
you get a pair?
I have not gotten a pair yet. I know. Jen, I am a man. I'm an old man who on like skater shoes and like.
Can I just tell you, this is the
Yeah.
craziest thing. So I was never sneaker. I did not understand it.
Mhm.
I am looking over on my side. I now have 20 pairs.
That's what I'm
Wow.
afraid of.
But here's the problem. I have every color of the Air Deldons
Mm-hmm.
and almost every color of the Stewies. So,
Wow.
like I have the four special ones, the four like special color ones.
We're
And then
getting
I
there.
have three of like the everyday colors. But I've got Sabrina's. I've got a pair of Candace's. I've got the Lisa Leslie's.
90% of my closet is like Vans and Tom shoes. Like this is my like.
If you own a pair of New Balance, you can cut your lawn. Let's be honest, right?
I sure do. You know,
I've actually planned my sneakers for all four of the IRL events at this point.
my lawn mowing shoes are actually worse. They're like the Hey Dude knockoffs that like Walmart sells, and they just have them as like slip-ons. And my God, like it's like mowing It's like mowing on clouds. It's
Wow,
lovely.
PPE met Sabrina at the Top Shot event in Las Vegas. That's great.
Whoa, PPE
Can I
is
just tell
here.
you,
Wow,
I was
look
in
at
Vegas
us.
that weekend and I forgot that was going on.
Whoa.
I was like sitting there, like looking at social media. I was like, oh my God, that's this weekend. Yeah, I was there this weekend, but was not there for Top Shot.
Oof.
You were bleeding Dockers.
I have a braided yellow leather belt. Damn it, Neil. Damn it.
Look, Kevin, we all wore the puka shell necklace at one point. It's okay. Just embrace it. So
It goes so great with like my haggard button ups that you just, man, you all have me pegged. And like, man, I did not have on my bingo card for the evening, like Poker Pro, just like coming in here and just like showing us all up.
Wow.
Wow. Just like
Love
rubbing
it.
elbows with great folks. Okay.
Well, of course she's bigger than Adam Morrison.
I hope so.
Not as big as this. Ooh,
Five.
There we go.
There we go.
I was gonna joke earlier. I was like, maybe my Vegas luck is rubbing off on this pack reveal.
Yeah, I like it.
That's
I like
right.
it. We got 2 single-digit serials tonight.
Jen, your Vegas luck at the slots was good, but your Vegas luck at the concert was not so good.
No,
right?
let's not talk about that.
Oh, okay. Too soon?
not talk about
Too
that.
soon?
I'm still bitter. I'm
Oh,
still
no.
very bitter.
Or Jen flew out to Vegas for a concert that never happened. There's the spoiler
That
alert. on
never
that one.
happened.
No, so yeah, we bought tickets literally a year ago to go to Miranda Lambert's residency, and she canceled it 3.5 hours before the show started.
No.
And here's what's even worse, right? So we flew in that morning. We were getting ready. I was done first and was just waiting there, scrolling on Instagram, and saw the post before we were walking out the door for dinner.
Gosh.
Ticketmaster didn't email us till 7:20, and the show was at 8.
Oof.
Like I found this out at like 5:15. I'm like, how many people showed up to the venue?
Yeah.
And
That's
had
so rough.
no idea.
And all dialed up, and oh yeah, that'd be rough. That'd be rough.
So,
No.
yeah,
Look up some Miranda Lambert on Spotify. She's great. Like,
she's a country music person. She had a residency in Vegas. But that's all right because of our Vegas IRL. I got Kelly Clarkson residency tickets.
Whoa, that's great too. All right.
The game is on Sunday, and Kelly's got a show Saturday night, so we're gonna see Kelly Clarkson. But no, I really did. I came home with all the money I brought, and we played for hours.
I have to let y'all know. I think I won Chicago Sky tickets to the 4W. On September 8th, our 11th wedding anniversary.
Night.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Did you clear that with the wife?
Absolutely. But we are absolutely doing something else in Chicago besides a basketball game to like offset that. Yes. But we're there.
But I think there's only 2 tickets though. You do realize that though.
Oh yeah, we haven't told the kiddo yet. Yeah. So
okay.
If this like pops up on our YouTube algorithm, like I'm gonna be in deep trouble,
if you take the whole family, somebody else asked me, they're like, well, I was hoping for 3, and I was like, well, I can tell you where the seats are to try to buy a third. But this was a mini plan package that just was what I bought. So sorry.
It's great. I'm stoked.
I mean, really, if you want, I can tell you later where the seats are. And if you want to buy more tickets,
No, it's gonna for sure be an us trip, and
I was gonna say it's an anniversary trip. You can leave the kiddo behind.
Yeah, we got babysitters. We're set.
That's right.
I know. We launched the links today.
Yep,
which
I saw
awesome
that.
Because so they got 6 games because part of their package came with the 25th anniversary celebration for free. So they threw in a 6 game for us on that one.
Jen, I was wondering. You said now we head down south to Minnesota. Where were you when you wrote that?
I probably copied a post, the wrong post.
I
was like, this is what happens when I do stuff on my phone at work between meetings. This is what happens. For those that don't know, my work blocks Discord on the Wi-Fi. So I have to turn the Wi-Fi off and do it all on my phone.
Oof, that's so rough.
That's
Mac, what is Whitney Houston's favorite type of coordination? I would like to know.
I know. I feel like we're walking into something.
This is a dad joke incoming.
586.
And
oh, Kelsey.
Kelsey off the top rope. That's amazing.
Kelsey, I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Fam, we went long tonight. We pulled good cereals.
That was great.
For the W bracket challenge. Check out when's the draft challenge coming out?
So I can launch it pretty much at any time. It's written. It just needs to be launched. So yeah, let's look for it in the next 24 hours, and people can start getting their picks in. And we'll do some giveaways like we did with the NCAA tournament. It was great to see people win. We actually did 2 tournaments. We did a full bracket, and then we did a Sweet 16, like a second chance, so that for people whose brackets got busted by some of the early upsets, they were able to get a second chance, and so that was great too. And so the Lynx tickets, the 48 player tournament, the prediction contest for the WNBA draft. There's still a lot going on. Get your best of 2021 set. Finish that off.
We still have 5 more teams of mini plans to give away.
Yeah, of course. We got a lot to talk about.
Kevin, your Mystics.
Probably like one of the least drivable teams for me, but we're gonna make it happen.
And not to put you on the spot, but do you remember the numbers of interest for each of the games?
Okay. So we have, I'll go with Toronto based on how many tickets we have, which is still I'm still insanely frustrated with that whole situation. But there's 72 for Toronto.
Okay.
66 for LA. and
Wow.
45 each for Vegas and New York.
Very cool. Very
Dang.
cool. And we're
So-
also in the very preliminary stages of talking with the Washington Wizards captains about doing a Mystics game with the District of Collectors, right?
Oh, that's
So-
so
Yeah,
cool.
and speaking of LA, we are actually working also with WCC to do a meetup potentially before the game because that's their 1-year anniversary.
Nice.
So fingers crossed for Lynx Aces. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're working on it, and what's been great is Toronto. We got to do something a little bit different because I wasn't with the team. But the other 3 all have amazing fan experiences that I am super stoked for.
That's awesome.
They kind of come with the package, which is awesome, and they're all excited to have us and been talking to them, and all the reps have been great. But yeah, it's really cool. Like some of these experiences that they have for fans, like has just been amazing. And like LA gave me like this whole list of like take your pick. One of the things I will say was I couldn't pull it off, but they did have you could play for an hour on the court.
Oh,
But the thing was, the only time slot they had left for that day was like noon, and the game's at 7. And I was like,
Oh.
we don't have basketball players for like an hour. We're not that kind of situation. But yeah, one of the things they had was like they called it their Court of Dreams. You could play on the LA, Crypto Arena or floor.
Crypto.com
for an
Yeah.
on the
hour.
floor, yeah.
But yeah, I mean these teams, they want the fans and they want those experiences.
Yeah.
You know,
And
so-
Kevin, I don't know if you saw it, we put it on our Discord. The Sun announced their first preseason game. It's against the Liberty.
Yep.
So Jonquel Jones coming back to Mohegan Sun, and tickets are reasonably priced if you're into preseason games and into watching games at 11 a.m. on a Wednesday. In May.
I gotta say, I really hope they announce the Toronto time really soon because that's what's killing me right now.
Yeah, that's a tough. That's tough to plan around. That's definitely
I'm
tough.
trying to plan a meetup, but I don't know what time to meet up. 'Cause I don't know what time the game is. I'm like, it's getting really close, people. I don't know what's happening, but
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Let's see who's winning Sylvia Fowles TSD. And while it's been, thank you all so much for coming back. I am so amped. Ooh, Josh.
There you go.
Josh
Really thought
props. I think you're a
Kraken's
new
gonna get
winner.
it.
Josh, if you know where we're at on the Discord or the Watch Your Work Twitter account, send us your TS name. We'll make sure you get that Sylvia Fowles. But
Max, that's a good question. Does League Pass carry the preseason games?
they haven't in the
They
past.
should.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's going to
Maybe
be
they
dependent on the Sun posting it on their Facebook, or maybe some sort of alternate stream.
It all depends. It's not that the league pass doesn't carry it. It's actually if there's cameras at the game.
yeah,
Oh, no.
That's
exactly.
the problem, right? So
Mhm.
unless there's something to actually stream it or broadcast it, it's really up. It's not that League Pass doesn't show it. It's that they may not have cameras.
All right, Max. So here's the deal. The Tuesday before the game, start driving to Pennsylvania. I'll come down from New York. We'll get in a car together. We'll go to Mohegan Sun. We'll spend Wednesday 11 o'clock together. We'll play hooky from our respective jobs. We'll gamble a little Mohegan Sun, get ourselves a nice hotel room, and then drive back to our respective places on Thursday.
That's probably also why it's at 11 a.m. because I don't think it's going to be broadcasted. And I also wonder why, if that's why they have not figured out a time yet for Toronto, because maybe it will be.
That's
Jen,
why
you
they
don't-
say what happens at the Mohegan Sun stays at the Mohegan Sun. Okay?
That's because there's nothing else to do in Massachusetts, Connecticut. Okay, I have been there.
Hey, Jen, don't you think it's kind of significant to have Jonquel Jones back to Mohegan Sun for the first time as an enemy combatant? Even if it's a preseason game?
Not for preseason. You need the fans.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need the whole fans.
I-
I mean, that's.
some
I
of
think
the
the first
areas out of
actual
that-
game is going to be something.
Mac, I'm
Especially the-
serious. I'm serious. Let's talk to our wives. Let's make this happen so we can.
I
even get
know.
some-
I know. The first time Stewie steps back in Seattle is going to be a big deal.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
I would say it's a very big deal.
Which unfortunately I will not be there for.
Hopefully, she won't be wearing those god awful rebel jerseys they put out for the Liberty. I
You
said
don't
what I
like
said.
them?
I do not love them.
Wow.
I like
not a
them better
Speckle
than the
fan.
old ones.
Yeah.
Really, the speckled black top? That's
Yeah, the
ridiculous.
seafoam was a little. The all seafoam was a little too much.
Links, give me
Mm.
links or give me nothing. That's what I say. The Washington ones look too much like the Las Vegas regular uniforms. I did not
No,
love
they didn't
those.
go enough.
No,
with
the Vegas ones, that's their rebel one. The gold, like the one that was a little more, but that's actually their rebel ones.
Yeah.
So yes, and I was honestly surprised Washington changed theirs that quickly. I thought their old rebel ones, and I was kind of surprised that they did 5, not 6.
Oh, I didn't even think
I
about
think you were
that.
with 5 teams instead
Does
of
that mean
6.
the Rise jerseys with the pink swoosh are gone now?
Yeah.
that's their
Oh, I
rebel
love
one.
those. Those are
Those
my
were
favorite.
great. Mm-hmm.
Well, that means
Those
that
are-
the gear will be on sale though in the Mystics team shop. So I got that
Oh.
going for me.
Yeah, I don't like. I can't figure out if like those are completely
Cloud9
gone or
jersey
now they have a
incoming.
4th option. I'm not sure. But I did think it was
Cloud9 jersey.
interesting that Indiana posted when they're wearing their Rebel jerseys, their new
Mhm.
Rebel jerseys already, and I was like, oh, I did not know that was a thing.
I did not love those things till I saw it. Till actually, like
But that
watching them
means
appear
for
on people.
Fever,
Yeah,
the Stranger Things is gone.
I
Yeah,
know.
that means the stranger
That's
ones.
the rough part.
Yeah. that's right.
But yeah, I don't know why they only picked 5 and why they picked those 5. I don't know. I couldn't figure that out.
Did the Lynx have a rebel jersey? I can't even think about what it might have been.
Yes.
They had the musical like note ones that were black that had what looked like the oh my gosh, like the music bars with that said men and then had like musical notes like
Oh,
stitched underneath like the black there. They were super great. They're what's coming up this year? Interesting.
I
like
love
there's
them.
nothing I really
love
love for this year. Yeah.
First of
Of-
all,
Of
Natalie
the group,
Achonwa
they're
gave
my
me a
favorite.
retweet because she recognizes, as I do, that when you fill your entire roster with Notre Dame players and then put out a green variant Rebel jersey, that basically you're building in your own market here. There's a
Oh
bunch
my
of Notre
God.
Dame women's basketball players who can't wait to wear that, I'm sure. So
I refuse to recognize Jessica Shepard's time with Notre Dame.
well, you can recognize Lindsay
Oh.
Allen, Kayla McBride.
Oh my gosh, I have never been
Natalie.
so tempted to press in broadcast in the middle of someone's sentence as I am right now.
And that was the last we heard from Jude.
See, I'm still waiting. Forget that they redid Rebel. I still want the heroine jerseys to go on sales
Mm,
for every team.
Oh
mhm.
yeah.
Because they only did Explorer and they've only done Rebel. And like, because I have wanted the white Seattle Storm jersey, the
Yeah.
white with the green on top. Like when
Mhm.
they announced their heroine, because that was the whole big thing. They did the her, and there was 3. There was the heroine, the Explorer, and the Rebel. None of the teams have ever had the heroine, the heroine ones on sale. And I'm like highly disappointed. I want those to go on sale as people can buy. That's
Get
what
on
I'm
it,
waiting.
Kathy. Come on,
Kathy.
Kathy.
I don't know if that's Nike
Why are you
or
Oh,
the W,
wow.
but not like because you think about it like
well, it's all about
even
moving units, right?
Huh?
It's all about moving units, right? If they don't think that there's enough people, that's why you can only buy jerseys
like-
from top 10 players, right?
I mean, Storm sold the Explorer and Rebel and every player, and we're sold out of every player.
Right.
And I'm like, I really wanted the white ones. I still want the white ones.
And meanwhile,
waiting for that.
probably if you went to the Indiana shop, you'd probably have to customize it if you wanted anybody besides the rookies and Kelsey Mitchell, right?
Well, that was actually when we did the merch giveaway. There was quite a bit I had to customize.
Okay.
Mhm.
But the crazy part was they had the players listed in the
Yeah.
drop down.
Of course they
And
do.
I was like,
They'll make them
course
on
they do.
why
demand.
can't
We'll
you
have to
just put
premium.
this out? And then unfortunately, and then one of the custom jerseys, even though I ordered it in 4 months, then they canceled it. So they didn't have enough. It's a custom jersey. How do you not have enough?
I don't get it. They
I
literally
was
make
So
those
I was
things.
so mad,
you-
and
if you
especially
go
for
to
the
the
person
sta-
that won it, I felt so bad.
If you go to the stadium, they'll make it for you right in front of you. I don't even understand. So
I gave the person a gift card instead. I said, either you can try or get something
Right.
else, but I feel really bad. I'm so sorry
Yeah.
about this.
Mhm.
Well, we're not miracle
WNBA
workers,
merch
Kat.
continues.
We're not miracle workers.
No, this wasn't my fault. I kept getting him the emails like, I promise you, this is what the store is telling me.
Coach Kim, WNBA merch, same level for me.
Oh, wow.
At this point,
Yeah. They
completely.
let the hate flow through you, Kevin.
Oh,
Let the hate
it's
flow
it's
through
in
What
you.
do
there.
you hate the
Yeah.
most about it?
it's availability. Like
Yeah.
it's impossible to
Get shorts.
to get shorts, especially Rebel Edition shorts, because that's the best part of the New York uniforms. It's the sizing.
One of the teams is selling them this time around.
Which one?
Dallas had the shorts.
that's
You
the
can't get
lamest
the full
ones.
track uniform feel without
Yeah.
selling the shorts. So
Oh God.
Yeah,
looks
but
like a high school
Dallas
relay
said they were
race,
selling the
doesn't it?
shorts this time. I know, because I would have loved to have the Rebel shorts. I mean, that was what makes the Rebel situation for Storm, because it was all connected down the shorts.
Yeah.
And Kevin's right. The Liberty shorts with the flame on them are cool. That's the cool part. So
yeah. Friends, I have to go to bed. I have to get up at I'm up at like a 5:30 in the morning kind of person.
That's it. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, I get up at 4:30.
Drink your Ovaltine, Kevin. We'll let you go.
It's like 4:00 where you are, Jen. Come on.
It's 8:00. I go to bed at 8:30. I'm an old man. I go to bed early so I can get up at 4:30
I
in
have
the
a
morning.
braided
And can I just tell
leather
you, you know
belt,
what's
Jen.
worse?
Do you
I
want to
already
talk
looked at
about
my
old man?
calendar tomorrow for work. I'm in meetings from 7 a.m. to 2. Straight.
And they won't let you on Discord through this entire time?
No.
Ah, brutal.
Straight.
You gotta get a new job, Jen.
I definitely need a new job. There has been so much drama in the last month. You don't even know.
I don't.
Let's put it this way. One of them, we have like this company that's merging into us. Guess whose bank they had?
Oh yeah, the Pacific
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley.
Guess who had to spend an entire Friday trying to figure out how to pull $1 million out of a bank account that was closed?
It's like trying to get Dapper funds.
Oh my God, let's not even go there. Let's not even go there.
Like trying to get customized WNBA jerseys.
Yeah, we have a call on that on Thursday.
What's
I
easier?
want my money.
Getting money out of Silicon Bank, finding WNBA merch.
Because they're like, oh, use
your Dapper
Coinbase. And I'm like, Coinbase? See, I hate Coinbase. My account's been compromised twice. And I'm not.
2FA, Jen. 2FA. Learn it, love it, live it.
Oh my gosh.
Let poor Kevin drink his Ovaltine and go to bed.
Can we like
put his nightcap on?
Having had gone through like the Twitter thing of like 2FA of like how is it not standard at this point? Like I shouldn't.
That's the crazy part. I had 2FA for Coinbase and twice it got compromised.
Oh, that sucks.
I reset the entire 12 phase phrase password too.
Oh wow.
Still got compromised. You guys suck.
All right. Well, there goes our Coinbase sponsorship.
Crypto and I are not friends right now.
Sponsored by the Sports Bra and Coin. Oh, wait, hold on a second. We've got a new sponsor here.
Yeah,
Jack
Daniels labeled
1938. Stole my
1938.
money, and one crypto I can't get money out. I'm not kidding.
I think that sounds like everyone's crypto experience.
I was gonna say that is the Web3 experience right there.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of money I can't get out, and I'm.
Oh my gosh, Silicon, whatever. Gosh, it's past 9:30. I can't be held responsible for what I say. You know what? That's one of those things that I complained about at first, and now I use all the time.
Let it happen.
Face ID. Safe
we hope that Kelsey isn't lost in the train system of her local metropolitan city. And
we haven't seen an update from Kelsey. Let's hope everything's okay. Kelsey, if you're alive, can you send us a message? Please.
Morse code us. Kevin, we always enjoy you. We do miss Kelsey though. So hopefully next time we're together in a month's time, we'll have a lot to talk about. We'll open some more packs, and Kelsey will be back with us. So
you did a much better job at an exit than I ever could have. So
I'm trying for you, buddy. I'm trying.
Peace out, friends.
That's right. He just hasn't hit end yet.
Good night. Drink your Ovaltine.